Hello everybody, today I am finally driving a Tesla Model 3 Performance. If the internet is to be believed, this car is the answer to everything. On the channel, I drive and review a large variety of vehicles, and yet people in the comment section would have me believe that whatever it is, this is better. McLaren 720S, don't know why you bothered, mate. Get a Model 3 Performance, it's better. AMG C63, don't know why you bothered, mate. Get a Model 3, it's better. Got a mum, don't know why you bothered. Get a Model 3, it's better than her. It's a bit crazy. I mean, as good as I'm sure these cars are, I really don't think it is a replacement for everything. But I am also the kind of person that doesn't believe on simply using the opinions of others. I want to make my own where possible. And so I am very grateful today for Andrew, who's decided to put money in the vicinity of Mouth and bring me his Model 3 Performance. Now, just to recap for those who are unaware, the Model 3 is Tesla's accessible EV. It's the electric car for the masses. Now, this particular car is just over £50,000, or about 40-something if you believe Tesla, but I'll get onto that in a moment. This is the top performing one. So you've got three Model 3s. You've got the standard, you've got the long range, which then has two motors rather than one, and a bigger 74 kilowatt battery. And then you've got this, the Performance. Same 74 kilowatt hour battery, but with even more power. I can tell you, the thing ruddy shifts. This is very fast. I will not question that at all. I have been in a lot of seriously fast cars, and this is straight up there with them. I can easily see why people are sold on them, because in a drag race, this would have pretty much any standard big German super saloon. Next week, I'll be driving the brand new Audi RS6, and I'll be shocked if that is anywhere near as quick or responsive as this. It's quite incredible. Tesla is a company about which I have very mixed feelings. There are some things that they've done which I think are absolutely fantastic. The whole giving out their patents bit, wonderful, brilliant, very unexpected move, and I think a very wise one too. Their leader, Mr. Musk, is something of a visionary. I put him in the same category as Steve Jobs. Brilliant, innovative, genius man that will be remembered for a long time. Also, complete dickhead. And I don't like the guy, I don't like the things he says, but I do have masses of respect for the guy. He has no doubt changed the world. I've never been in any doubt that the Teslas were serious performance cars, and I think that's one area where they really stand out in comparison to their rivals. It's only now we're starting to see other EVs appear that have anything close to the performance credentials of the Teslas. I think their somewhat American obsession with drag strips and quarter-mile times is perhaps a little unhelpful for the Europeans, who generally have no idea what the quarter-mile times of their own cars are. I mean, seriously, I've been to the States, I know how important drag strip culture is to you guys, but over here, it just isn't. Asking someone what the quarter-mile time of their Lotus is kind of like asking someone that owns a Challenger Hellcat what it's like around Spa. It's just not important to that type of buyer. Tesla also don't help themselves, I think, in the way that they sell their cars. They are trying to shake up the marketplace in so many different ways, and the way they retail their product is one of those. You can actually find and buy a Tesla in a shopping centre. Very unusual place, because you can't really test drive a car around Westfield, but that's the kind of way they want to market their product. Generally speaking, they don't seem that keen on spending an awful lot on advertising, and I think that is a shame. Their attitude, I believe, is that the product sells so well in America, why should you spend any money trying to sell it here? Well, I think they should, because if they did, they'd probably shift quite a few more. The way it makes progress, I must confess, is quite stupid, and it is an awful lot of fun. I am currently on a major dual carriageway, but I am heading to some tight, twisty back roads, because that's what really interests me. I can get in anything that's very, very fast. Granted, not quite as many things that are as fast as this for the money, but I don't live on roads like this. Now, we've met this morning at a supercharger station, and the supercharger network is no doubt one of the reasons that a lot of people will buy one of these. And I have to say, my last experience of an EV, which was in the e-tron, was a bit of a nightmare. That's nothing to do with the car itself, more the fact that the public, i.e. non-Tesla charging network, is a total shambles. About half the points that I went to were broken, someone was parking their car there, the thing wasn't working right, it was just a total and complete mess. Nothing was working, and when you're driving around a car with a range of only about 160 miles, that's just not good enough. This one has a range of just shy of 300 in good conditions, so summer, and about 3/4 of that in winter. So you're talking a good solid 200 miles in basically bad case scenario. And that's pretty decent. That, I think, is impressive. To look at, it's an odd thing. There are some angles where it looks very good, and there are some angles where it doesn't. It's actually quite compact if you park it next to a Model S. Even though the two share very similar styling cues, it is its own thing. They must be selling well, because I have seen quite a few of these on the road. The throttle response is exactly the sort of thing that everyone's been telling me to expect from an EV, and yet this is the first car to actually do it. I love it. For that reason alone, it is a hell of a thing. Now, there are a few things about the Tesla experience which are a little bit annoying, and they're tiny things, but they seem worth mentioning. I was doing some research going on their website, looking at the prices, specs, and all that stuff of these cars, because there isn't a lot to choose from. Your base single motor one has what they call the part premium interior, and then the long range and the performance have the premium interior. I don't know if anyone at Tesla has sat in a Mercedes before, but this is not a premium interior. The only person that's ever going to think this interior is premium is American. I'm very sorry if you're watching this and you are American, but generally speaking, you guys do not know how to put nice interiors together. This feels like a concept car. It feels like an early sketch of like, well, this is roughly how it's going to be and where everything's going to go. The big tablet down here is giving me anxiety, because I worry that I'm going to kick it off with my knee, and I'm not in love with the whole speedo over here thing. I think pulling your eye away from the road so far to see your speed in a vehicle that can really rack it up quite quickly is a bit silly. All this really needs, I'm not going to be the sort of person that says, no, they need traditional gauges and dials and a normal cluster up here. What I would like to see, however, is a heads-up display. And I think that's a techie solution that Tesla would like. What bugs me about their website is if you go on there, they'll list the price of this car, the performance, at £52,000. However, they'll then say, oh, after savings, it's about 43 grand. And I thought, wow, brilliant, blimey, they're doing a bit of discount on these. They're really trying to shift them. 43 grand for one of these, that's fantastic. No. What Tesla mean by savings is they're telling you that that's what the car is going to cost you, because you're going to save money by not using fuel. I nearly hit the roof when I looked on the website last night on my mobile phone, because they said, we've calculated a normal petrol engine car as doing 7.4 miles to the gallon. I mean, if they spend all this time on a drag strip, I mean, I can understand why they think all cars do 7.4 miles per gallon. It turns out that is actually a typo, and what they meant was 7.4 miles per litre, which is what it says on the website if you go on a desktop. That annoyed me for two reasons. Number one, that's just a lack of attention to detail, which is a shame. And for a software company, they really should get their website right. Number two, miles per litre is not a metric that anybody uses. You use litres per 100 kilometre or miles per gallon. And you can't mix the two. The only reasons you do this are if you want to be difficult, you're stupid, which Tesla are not, or you want to sort of deliberately confuse people, and that's a shame. The supercharger network is no longer free. It was for those early adopters of the Model S. You buy a car like this, you get 1,000 free supercharger miles, and I believe on occasion they will do special offers. I am, however, pleased to report that the general ownership experience of a Tesla is actually a lot better than I thought. And something I should point out, this car's owner is not a die-hard, eco-warrior type. Oh no, he's got a very enviable and cool car back catalogue, including things like a 200SX and a sleeker GT4. So he's a man after my own heart. He bought this because he needed something a little bigger and more sensible than his previous car, which was a last-gen M135i. He's got a little one on the way, so he needs the space. He looked at a lot of different vehicles, and he decided that this one kind of fit the bill. It was at the right price, and he was going to appreciate the savings that were going to be brought to him by it being an electric car. driving it, I can certainly kind of get where he's coming from. Now, there were a few small problems with the car on delivery, mostly cosmetic, but Tesla came out, sorted those, and apparently so far have been very good to deal with. I've heard a lot of negative things said about Tesla and the way that they deal with people, but I'm very pleased that that evidently is not the case for at least one person. McLaren, take note. On this road, which actually is not as smooth as you would think, it's actually quite pleasant, it rides very well, and that's an excellent way to munch the miles. This weird kind of faded sunroof is quite cool and interesting. It sort of blends into the back screen, and it seems nimble enough, but we will soon find out just how good it is, because we're not far from some of my favourite twisty and difficult back roads. It certainly feels very agile, and it is, I must confess, impressing me. If you're the sort of person that doesn't really care about performance of a vehicle, and you're not especially fussed about running costs, I can conclude the video for you now. Don't bother with a Model 3. Because if you want a better interior, a nicer place to be, a better badge, all that jazz, you can find that elsewhere. But I don't think that is the Model 3's appeal. You can tell the performance variant from the long range by a few subtle ways. It's got a couple of bits of token aero on it, like the little carbon spoiler at the back. It's got these 20-inch performance wheels rather than the 18s of the long range and standard car. And it also has bigger performance brakes. Those are no doubt going to come in handy, because this thing is no flyweight. It's not as big as the Model S or, of course, the Model X, but it's still close to 1.9 tons before you sit in it. One of the things I love about this car is the view out the front. It just drops away, and it really reminds me of my old Lotus. Now, there is no doubt a motor hidden up there somewhere, but it isn't anywhere near the size of a conventional power plant, which enables them to not just make it look cool, but also give you a little bit of storage space there too. Top speed of the Performance is about 162, although I've no doubt that if you try and get there, it's probably going to drain this battery pretty quick. Andrew and I met up this morning with the car deliberately fairly low on juice, and by the time I'd done all of my exterior shots, it was basically full. I have to say, it works exceedingly well. And unlike the sort of peasant chargers that I have to use when I get a press car, you just plug the car in, it already has your details, and off it goes. Now, this is a very tricky and challenging road, and the car's taking it ruddy well. I'm really annoyed. I'm really liking this car. You can place it on the road so well because of that great visibility. That is something far better than the current 3 or 4 Series, I have to say. The steering is actually reasonably direct, and because it's got that all-wheel drive, it can throw itself out of a corner. Getting up to serious speed in this thing is so easy. It's a lot of fun. I just wish it felt like a more special place to be, but in all honesty, because of that huge view out the front, all of this rubbishy interior just drops right away, and you sort of stop caring about it after a very brief while. This car currently has the one-pedal drive mode engaged, which means that if I just lift off all of the pedals, it will eventually come to a complete and total stop, which I can't be bothered to let it do, but you can tell it's going to do that. And when it does that, it's using exclusively regenerative braking, and I have to say, it actually works quite well. It's one of these modes that when I heard about it, I just thought, oh, yeah, it just sounds like a load of old techno gumph, but actually it works quite well. The only other car I've driven with something similar is the Nissan Leaf, and I actually enjoyed it in that car as well. Obviously, in performance terms, this is a world away from a Leaf, but similar principle. It should say a lot about how reliable Tesla think their cars are that they've designed this to be able to run on either one of the motors. Now, this car's owner hasn't had anything near as dramatic as a motor failure happen, but it isn't unheard of, and it's nice to know, I guess, that in the event of such a catastrophic failure, the car will still keep going. Tesla themselves apparently do really engage with the owners community and are helpful, supportive, and do listen to people and take feedback on board. Again, McLaren, are you listening? They are a new company, but their attitude seems quite refreshing. They are very aware of that, and they do also seem somewhat self-aware in terms of their own failings. It's very good to see them taking these things on board and kind of progressing and moving the game on. Yes, I knew that car was coming towards me. Thank you for telling me. Had you not told me, I never would have known. Oh, there's a picture of a van coming towards me. I think it must be the same guy that did the safety systems in the Mercedes who worked on this, because they too, in the event of an impending accident, do their best to distract you from the road and send your vision down to the screen down here. It's a stupid thing to do, but that's what they do. The car is actually also one of the quietest EVs that I have driven. It's by far the best to drive, and having spent some time in this now, it renders the Audi e-tron, and I love the Audi guys, I love them to pieces, so it pains me to say it, but it renders that car even more unnecessary and silly, because this, although it's a much smaller car, isn't that much shorter on space, has bags more performance, much better range, and is cheaper, and I can easily see why people would buy one of these, whereas the e-tron, I kinda struggle to sort of justify. For those worried I'm going to go all green and strange, don't. I turned up to this review in a 4.4 litre V8 diesel Range Rover, just in the interest of balance. But I have to say, I have now had my time to drive and sample the Model 3, and although the things that I knew would disappoint me do disappoint me, i.e. this bit, the rest of it is pretty damn good. Is it a track weapon? No. Is it remarkably good fun to throw down a tight, twisty and difficult British B-road? Yes. It's a hell of a thing, and look, I will shed many a tear the day we can no longer walk into a showroom and buy a big, red-blooded, angry V8 behemoth. But it will be a brief warning, because if we've got things like this now, I can't wait to see what comes next. The car steers, stops and goes in a way that isn't just more effective, but is more enjoyable than the current M3. Now this one is riding on the regular 18-inch wheels with winter tyres, and they look pretty good, and they probably work better than the 20s for this kind of road too. It probably helps that I have absolutely no love for the current generation Beamer, but if you look at the Tesla spec in more detail, something becomes quite clear. This car has a double wishbone suspension up front and a multi-link at the rear. That isn't the kind of setup you use if you're trying to save money on a car. It's the sort of thing I would expect from a high-end sports car. Though the steering isn't ultra precise, it is still a joy to use, and with an electric setup this only happens after countless hours of calibration by expert handling bods. Although the first Roadster was the only Tesla to officially have Lotus's help, I can't stop myself wondering if some of the expertise from Hethel has made its way over to California. I still don't believe supercar owners need to be that worried about the little Tesla though. The performance is certainly impressive, but I'm sure that at track speed, cracks would be found in the Model 3's armour. It also lacks the one thing that a proper sports car has: theatre. A Ferrari is a hell of a thing when just stood still, where the Tesla's oddball styling, subpar fit and finish, and lacklustre interiors really are holding back a vehicle which has a hell of a lot going for it. But once they get those in order, the saloon car establishment better have their counterattack ready, because this is a seriously credible threat to their comfy order. It's a hell of a thing. And before this review ends, there is one last thing that I do have to do with this. Naught to 60, and I'm not sure it stopped spinning any of the wheels. Yeah, alright. Fair play, Elon. Fair play. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment below, subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.